ایک اور بلند ترین صلوات. میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. بنت علی نے مجھ کو چادر بنا لیا ہے. میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. کرتے ہیں رشک مجھ پر کوثر کے بھی کنارے. زینب کے سر میں نے 2 سال ہے گزارے. میرا ہر ایک ذرہ ہر ظلم کا گواہ ہے. میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. اکبر جوان قاسم غازی سے چاند تارے. زین العبا ہے زین العبا نے میری آغوش میں اتارے. یعنی لہو نبی کا مجھ میں ملا ہوا ہے. میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. روتی ہوں یاد کر کے وہ بے کسی کا منظر. مولا چھپا رہے تھے مجھ میں جو لاش اصغر. اس دن سے آج تک نہ مجھ کو سکون ملا ہے. میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. شہدائے کربلا کے زخموں کو میں نے چوما. زہرا کی بیٹیوں کے قدموں کو میں نے چوما. اس واسطے ہی میری تاثیر میں شفا ہے. میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. اکبر کی لاش پر جب شبیر جا رہے تھے اٹھتے تھے بیٹھتے تھے اور لڑکھڑا رہے تھے. منظر اکبر کی لاش پر جب شبیر جا رہے تھے اٹھتے تھے بیٹھتے تھے اور لڑکھڑا رہے تھے. منظر وہ ابھی میری آنکھوں میں پھر رہا ہے. میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. بنت علی نے مجھ کو چادر بنا لیا ہے. میں خاک کربلا ہوں، رتبہ میرا جدا ہے. بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
Surah Mubarakat al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله والصلاة والسلام على خير خلق والنور أرش أفضل الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيبنا وسيدنا وسندنا وشفيعنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين أما بعد قال الله في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, I would like to greet you all with the warmest of Islamic greetings, and that is none other than Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As you know, in the past night, we explained that it was a very grievous occasion in the Islamic calendar. And that marks not only one historical figure that is of utmost importance, but two. One being the Holy Prophet, Prophet Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, and his beloved grandson, Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salatu wa salam. And therefore we would like to begin by asking Imam al-Mahdi ajrallahu ta'ala faraj on this night to allow us to share the same grievances that he holds and send our condolences to our beloved 12th Imam and all of his followers. Last night we discussed the importance of understanding why we must turn towards Ahlul Bayt in order to get a stronger grasp of the Holy Prophet. We mentioned that oftentimes the school of Ahlul Bayt gets criticized for indulging in the remembrance of Ahlul Bayt at times more so than the Holy Prophet. And we concluded one thing, that if any one of you were to go look at the academic sources we have on the Prophet, we see that during the reign of the caliphs, it was illegal for you to talk about the Prophet, where the hadith of the Prophet were burned with the sole purpose of saying that people may go towards the sayings of the Prophet instead of the Quran. Therefore, during the time between the first Khalifa all the way to the reign of Bani Abbas, you would find that there was no scholarship within the Muslim Ummah. You were not allowed to talk about the Holy Prophet. You were not allowed to write things. And the only thing that they talk about today, when we look at the Prophet in hindsight, was oratory tradition, verbal tradition, where we were supposed to learn about the Prophet based on what people were saying at the time. Now, if you tell a child how a game of broken telephone works, where you start and say something in his ear from here, and by the time he gets to this side of the room, you might get a completely different phrase, just a sentence. Imagine for 150 years, Muslims were just saying things about the Prophet of Islam without having a proper sanad, without having a proper dalil. If someone wanted to make up a hadith of the Holy Prophet, it wouldn't take much. You didn't even have to write it down, because you weren't allowed to write it down. And therefore we find that the only avenue you could have had towards the Holy Prophet of Islam sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi was none other through Imam Ali alayhi salam, where the profound narration that's found in every single book of hadith today, where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi says, "Ana madinatul ilm wa aliyun babuha." I am the city of knowledge and Ali are the gates. And again we find that within every time, every caliphate that came about, as you know, the four rightly guided caliphs according to the other sects of Islam, and the Bani Umayyah caliphs, the Umayyad dynasty caliphs, and the Abbasid caliphs, between each and every one of these transitions and caliphate systems that were, by the way, complete and utter failures of Islamic leadership, you found an Imam present. And that Imam would be a source of guidance for the people. And that Imam would have students, and the narrations would be collected between the students. In fact, to date, we actually have original texts from the time of Imam al-Hadi, the 10th Imam, all the way to the time of Imam al-Askari, where first-hand the companions of the Imams were writing traditions. And then we noted one more important point. When they asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, the 6th Imam, "Oh Imam, what is your opinion on this matter?" The Imam says, "I don't have an opinion. I say that which the Prophet would say." And that is a crucial and fundamental point to understand, that when you guys are in the school of Ahlul Bayt, you have direct access to the knowledge of the Holy Prophet, the description of the Holy Prophet, the understanding of Islam through the vision of the Holy Prophet, not the understanding of the Prophet 150 years later, where every single respective scholar had a different opinion. One person said that the Prophet was okay with war. One other prophet said that he was okay with marrying a 9-year-old girl. And we found out yesterday that that was a complete and utter failure in the narrations. That only the enemies of the Prophet would come up with narrations that he would marry a 9-year-old. And if you really want to do a little survey for yourself today on how little we know of the Holy Prophet of Islam, would you believe me if I told you that people don't know when his birth date was? Would you believe me if they don't know when his death date was? That today I'm sitting here telling you on the 28th of Safar that his death date was on the 28th from the school of Ahlul Bayt, solely because our third Imam as well, Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, passed away on this date. And Imam Hassan recollects that he says, I will die in the same day of Rasulullah, and I will be poisoned like Rasulullah. Whereas the others, you know what they come and tell you? The Prophet died on the 12th of Rabbi-ul-awwal, and he was born on the 12th of Rabbi-ul-awwal. And recently in Saudi Arabia, they passed a fatwa, a ruling that says it's haram for you to celebrate the birth date of the Holy Prophet. Imagine the wilada of the final Prophet of Allah, you're not allowed to celebrate it because he's born and he died on the same day. Others say he was on the 17th. Others say there's so many things wrong here. Another thing that you guys may have not realized is that the hijrah of the Holy Prophet, the migration of the Holy Prophet, happened in which month? Happened in Rabbi-ul-awwal. So if we go by the Hijri calendar, as you know, we say 5 years after Hijrah, 20 years after Hijrah, shouldn't the calendar, the year change on Rabbi-ul-awwal? But wait, when does it change? Muharram. So is Muharram the first Islamic month? No. Year after year we have been taught that Muharram is the first Islamic month. But when we go and look into the sources of history, we find that the Prophet made Rabbi-ul-awwal the first Islamic month based on his hijrah, his migration from Mecca to Medina. A month where he was born, a month that's worth celebrating over and over, a month that even greeting someone, the first of Rabbi-ul-awwal, there's many merits. But until the time of the second Khalifa, the second Khalifa says, I prefer it to be Muharram. Why? Because back in the day in Jahiliyyah we used to do the same thing. And Imam Ali rebukes. He says, you are breaking the tradition of the Holy Prophet. He says, I know better. So brothers and sisters, ultimately, academically speaking, we cannot go back into any sources of the Holy Prophet unless we follow the original message where he says, إِنِّي تَارِكُمْ فِيكُمُ الثَّقَلَيْنِ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَإِتْرَةِ أَهْلُ الْبَيْتِ صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Well, the premise that he left behind, and he repeated constantly over his prophethood, he said, I leave behind two weighty things, the book of God and my family. Be mindful of my family, be mindful of my family, be mindful of my family. Even every single prophet of the 124,000 prophets that came to pass preached the message that we ask nothing from the people in exchange for the message of Allah, except when it came to the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, where the verse was revealed, O Prophet of Allah, قُل, say, لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا. You ask nothing from the people, إِلَّا, except مَوَدَّةَ فِي الْغُرْبَةِ. Mawaddah, compassion and love for my family. This was a principle that the Prophet, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to us, that through the love of his family, we can truly understand the message of Islam. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Therefore, we dedicated last night as a historical analysis of the Holy Prophet. We looked at the inaccuracies that may have been attributed to him, and we concluded that Ahlul Bayt are the only avenue we can go. Tonight, we dedicate, the master of the ceremony will be in the name of Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salatu wasalam. And firstly, I would like to ask for his forgiveness, for I myself have done very little service for the sake of Imam al-Hassan in my time. Very little majalis have been attributed to Imam al-Hassan in comparison to his brother Imam al-Hussein. And he plays an integral role in everything. In fact, in tafsir of Imam al-Askari, of the 11th Imam, they asked him, who has the higher status? He said Imam al-Hassan occupies a higher status than Imam al-Hussein. They said, then why did Allah grant his lineage through Hussein? The 11th Imam replied, are you not aware that the lineage of Prophet Musa continued through Harun? But Musa occupies a greater status. Likewise is the status of Imam al-Hassan. So therefore tonight we will do a small reflection on the life of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, in order to build our ma'rifah, our recognition of this Imam, understand how crucial he was, understand certain things that have been attributed to him, just like the Holy Prophet, that are false, and finally take lesson from the life of Imam al-Hassan on how we should be with the Imam of our time. Ajrallahu ta'ala faraja. The position of the Imam when it comes to the school of Ahlul Bayt is far different than any other school of Islam. The Imam does not necessarily mean leader. Right now, the term Imam has been used so much that you guys, if I were to ask you to define it for me, you would just say leader. Imam of Salat al-Jama'ah, Imam of Salat al-Jum'ah. This is the leader of the Salat. But if you go back, we talked about the term Ummi last night. Ummi meaning what? It comes from the root word So when they say the Prophet is an Ummi, it doesn't mean he's illiterate. It means he learned from the source. Because if you look in the Arabic language, when you call yourself, when you call your mother Ummi, mother, you're referring to her as your source because you were brought up in that womb. She nurtured you when you were born, when you were brought up. Everything goes back to your mother. The first love in your life must be always your mother. Heaven lies under your mother's feet. She is your source for Jannah. She is your source for sustenance growing up. That's why the Arabs named their mother source. So the Prophet was an Ummi because he learned his intellect and his knowledge from the divine source of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the Imam comes from the root word as well. The root word of the meaning source, the Imam doesn't mean leader. It means the source of Allah's mercy among us, the source of Allah's intellect and understanding and divine authority among us. So when we go to the Imam, we're not going to the leader of our time, we're going to Hujjatullah, the proof of Allah. We're going to Baqiyatullah, the remainder of Allah in this world. At times you find that when you come to talk about the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, when you recite the ziyarah, you say, Assalamu alayka ya Ahlul Bayt Nabuwa. You say, peace be upon you, O the Ahlul Bayt of all of prophethood. And that occupies their status, that every single 124,000 prophet came in the Shia creed with the message of Ahlul Bayt, with the prophecy of Ahlul Bayt. Every single prophet of Allah was aware of Imam al-Hussein. They were aware of the Holy Prophet of Islam. They were aware of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And therefore you find in Surah Naba, Amma yatasa'ilun anin naba al-azim. They ask you of the great news. But what is the great news? Imam Ali alayhi salam says that I am Naba al-azim. I am the great news. Is there a news greater than I? Ana ayatullah al-uzma. I am the greatest sign of Allah on earth. That is the position of the Imam. And at times when we look in history, we try to paint the Imams as role models. And a role model is a false attribute to give the Imam. Because despite their kindness and their mercy, their relationship is that between them and the Creator. And you do not occupy that. You occupy your relationship to the Imam. And therefore, whenever Imam Hussein does a thing, it doesn't mean that you can do that. It doesn't mean that, for example, in Prophet Ibrahim's story in the Quran, when he has a dream about slaughtering his son, just because one of you might have a dream of that, and you came and told me, I would call 911. Because this person just had a dream, he killed his son, and he's running off to do it. You are not the Prophet of Allah. And therefore, the obedience to the Imam of your time takes precedence over your interpretation of what's right. Because a lot of times you find that people say, I love the Imam, but they cross the Imam. For example, a man by the name of Abdullah ibn Umar, who was the second caliph's son, during the time of Imam Hussein, he came out to Imam Hussein, he says, Hussein, you know, you're the grandson of the Prophet, don't go to Karbala. Because I love you. Excuse me, who are you to tell the Imam what to do? You're telling the Imam what to do. Imam says, I am on a divine mission that has been foretold for generations, and I am going towards my martyrdom. Are you coming here and telling me to stay? Then you haven't understood the Imam of your time. Likewise, when it came to the story of Imam al-Hassan, we find that not only were the followers of Imam al-Hassan heedless to what imamate was, they left the Imam empty, and today we suffer criticisms of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, that they say the cause of Imam Hussein's death was because of Imam Hassan. Why? Because after the death of Imam Ali, listen to this, may Allah forgive me for saying this on the member of Ahlul Bayt. They say that after the death of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Hassan was chosen to be the next Khalifa, but Imam Hassan was a lazy man, and he rather get married and divorce a bunch of times. So he gave the Khilafah to who? Muawiyah. Because Hassan gave the Khilafah to Muawiyah, Muawiyah then gave it to Yazid. Yazid came and killed who? Imam al-Hussein. Therefore the Shia's Imams are to blame for their own heedlessness. In fact, one story recollects that Imam Hassan had 300 wives. And by the way, these are the same stories that we talked about that came 250 years after the taking place of Imam Hassan, after the taking place of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And of course, you're going to always find these strange things that come about in certain books of hadith. In these books of hadith that not one member of the Ahlul Bayt are mentioned. For example, in Sahih Bukhari, a man by the name of Muhammad al-Bukhari, 250 years after the Prophet, goes from city to city, interviews people, has a criteria for gathering hadith. This is not one of our books. This is a very famous book in the respected brothers of Ahlul Sunnah. And after 250 years, look how many Imams have passed. This is almost during the time of Imam Zaman's time, in Tayyibat al-Sughra. Not one tradition from one Imam of Ahlul Bayt. This was during a time that in Masjid al-Nabi, the 6th Imam's traditions were being constantly repeated in Medina. In Masjid al-Nabi, they used to say, قَالَ الصَّادِقَ آلِ Muhammad, قَالَ Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. A man who was the peak of eloquence of his time that established the first Islamic university, Muhammad al-Bukhari comes and says what? I'm going to come and compile a book of hadith, and not one hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. They said, why not? He says, I don't take from Ali Muhammad. Interesting. And he's a righteous scholar. You don't take from the family of the Prophet, you take from everyone else. 250 years after. So I bet, what's the weight of this book? Allahu A'lam. During the time of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, it is now the 21st of Ramadan when Imam Ali alayhi salam has reached his martyrdom. He is buried in the dark of the night. And Imam Hassan has come to the people and he says, now I am your Khalifa. Pay your allegiance to me. At first the people say, very well. When the news broke out that Imam Ali alayhi salam has passed away, Muawiyah heard in Sham. As you know, Muawiyah was the one that was waging war against Imam Ali during the 4 years. The limited time as a Khalifa, Muawiyah was the biggest competitor because the son of Abu Sufyan, for some reason, had the impression that he could take over the religion of Islam. The son of the man who waged war against the Prophet now wants to take over the religion of Islam. What a world this is. What a world this is, that the son of Abu Sufyan comes and fights against Wali Allah and says, I'm better fit. So, news breaks out. Muawiyah raises an army of 150,000 soldiers. Imam Hassan, the news reaches him in Kufa. With the limited time, he had just buried his father. With the limited time that he had, he gathers 4,000 soldiers. He gives a commander by the name of Hakam. The commander, he gives him authority. He says, go and fend off Muawiyah while I gather more troops. For this man does not wish to seize. Hakam goes, he meets Muawiyah's army. Muawiyah comes out. Hakam, I see you're on the son of Ali's side. He said, yes. He says, aren't you tired of fighting? Ever since you've been with Ali, you just keep fighting and fighting. Aren't you tired? Here, let me make it easy for you. Would 500,000 dirhams be enough for you? Hakam says, you know what? He's right. I have been fighting and I'm tired of losing my friends and my family in these battles. And let's just go for peace. And you keep something in the pocket. Hakam deserts the army. Imam Hassan alayhi salam sends another commander. This one goes, Muawiyah comes, what's the price of your soul? Is 5,000 dirhams enough? This one is 5,000. One of them takes 500,000. The other one takes 5,000 dirhams to ditch Imam al-Hassan's side. What's the price of your soul? Brothers and sisters today, what's the price of your soul? One can be bought with 500,000, another with 5,000, another for $5, ripping off a friend. For $1,000, what would you do? How quickly we sell our akhirah. What's the price of our souls? Okay. Imam Hassan goes back. The 4,000 troops are gone. He goes back. He collects another 12,000 people. He shows them miracles. They asked him, are you an imam? He said, yes. He said, your father could do miracles. Can you show us a miracle? He said, yes, I can. He says, then show us one. He said, do you remember my father? They said, yes. He said, if I showed you him, would you believe me? They said, yes. He put the curtain aside. Imam Ali is standing there. They said, fine, we bear witness that you are an imam. He closes the curtain. Imam Ali, standing in front of the people after being buried, that is the authority of the imam. That when the imam wants, he can show you things. So many times, someone says, hold on. I don't believe this. I don't believe that an imam can do this. The response the 9th imam gave us, and pay attention to this story. During the time of the 9th imam, Imam Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad, salawatullah as-salamu alayhi. He was a child in his imamate. Someone came up to him and said, you young boy, they say that you have the knowledge of knowing how many droplets are in this body of water. How could a young boy like you know that? The 9th imam responds, oh man, do you believe that Allah can bestow that knowledge to a fly? The man looked at him. If he says no, then he's saying Allah can't. If he says yes, then he lost the argument. So he said, yes, I do believe that Allah says kun fayakun, be and it is. So if he wants, he can give that knowledge to a fly. The 9th imam said, I'm better than a fly. And I have that knowledge. The imams, if you say the imam can't, then you're limiting Allah. You're limiting Allah's majesty. So Imam Hassan gains 12,000 people. This time, his cousin Ubaidullah bin Abbas comes. He makes him the commander, but he sets 2 more contingencies in case they flake. The first one being Qais ibn Sa'ad. This one was supposed to be the one that takes over in case Ubaidullah bin Abbas, his cousin, flakes on him, goes towards Muawiyah's side. And then, if Qais ibn Sa'ad flakes as well, Sa'ad ibn Qais, his son, is supposed to take over. So 3 contingencies. They go, Muawiyah says, what's your price? What's the price of your soul? They said, we don't have a price. He said, how about this? 500,000 up front, and 500,000 when you bring Hassan in handcuffs to me. They looked at each other, hey, we could split it, 3-way. 1 million, that's a good price. They leave. Imam Hassan alayhi salam goes to the land of Nukhayla after receiving the news. He goes to the people, says, oh people, bear witness that I am the best of Allah's creation among you. And I am not sad by what you have done and how much you have deserted me. But if we do not come together and unify, the son of Abu Sufyan is ready to take over the religion. Rasulullah has a famous saying. He says, if you ever see Muawiyah on my minbar, take him off. For if you don't, he will put you at the feet of his son Yazid. And how accurate Rasulullah was. So, after this speech that Imam Hassan gives in Nukhayla, a man by the name of Sanan ibn Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Samarra, a man by the name of Samarra, forgive me. He comes with a poisoned cane, sharpened, poisoned, and he stabs Imam al-Hassan in the leg. Imam Hussein carries him. They take him to the doctor. He recovers. In another assassination attempt, Imam Hassan is leading salat. This wasn't the first, Imam Hussein wasn't the first time where they were attacked in their salat. Imam Hassan was leading the salat. He was wearing chainmail. A man shoots an arrow. It did not penetrate his armor. But these assassination attempts were there since the time of the Holy Prophet. In the most vulnerable states, the Imams were attacked. So therefore, when they come and tell you Imam Hassan was a lazy man, he didn't want to take over. Ask yourself one thing, who was the real killer of Imam Hassan alayhi salam? Would you believe me if I said it wasn't his wife Ja'da? Because they say Ja'da poison. Would you believe me if it wasn't Muawiyah? Would you believe me if I said it wasn't Amr ibn al-As, Muawiyah's advisor? If you truly want to know the real killers of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, it was the people. It was the indecisiveness of the people. that they couldn't decide who they wanted. In fact, one person came up to the Imam Hassan, Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, you know what he said? He said, Muawiyah is a better politician than you. Muawiyah, he knows how to win our hearts. He gives us things. You don't give us anything. Imam Hassan alayhi salam says, I promise you your akhirah. If I asked you today what the purpose of an Imam was, just sit there and think about it. What's the point of having an Imam? He doesn't give revelation like a prophet. He doesn't have revelation. What's the point? Understand this point, brothers and sisters, and keep this by your ears, because this is something that you'll learn when you start understanding the theology of Shiite Islam and how important it is to understand this version of Islam over any other. From my years of research, I have never found something more precise and perfect than the 12 Imams being after the Prophet. The Prophet is a Rasul. He gives a message. The purpose of the Imam is Hidayah. Rasulullah gives Risala, Imam gives Hidayah, guidance towards what? The message. When Imam Hussein goes and looks at the people and says, come follow me, and we will reach our martyrdom together, he's not saying I'm going to go reach political power. He says, come fight alongside me. Unlike that side, I promise you an eternity of heaven. Fight alongside me. It's for your own benefit that you fight with me. When you die alongside me, you'll be immortalized. So that's the purpose of the Imam of the time. So Imam Hassan alayhi salam, in this situation, looks, and this isn't a place where we say, if I was in Imam Hassan's shoes, I would have done the same thing. Because again, we do not replicate what the Imam does. We follow what the Imam instructs. In this case, Imam Hassan comes and says, Muawiyah, you've taken my best men. Let us come to an understanding so less men have to die. And then we come to a peace treaty. Muawiyah, I'm willing to give you the caliphate on if you accept 5 conditions. The first condition is, stop the cursing of my father, Ali ibn Abi Talib. As you know, after the death of Imam Ali alayhi salam, people cursed him on the very member of the Holy Prophet for 90 years. 90 years they went up and they said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, may Allah curse Ali ibn Abi Talib. Muawiyah was the instigator of this, and he continued after this, by the way. So number 1. Number 2, stop killing the Shias of Ali. Number 3, there is about $1 million of Baytul Mal from the blood money you earned from fighting my father. Use it in the way of the poor. Instead, Muawiyah builds a palace, the palace of Sham. Number 4, maintain the sunnah of the Holy Prophet. Do not delete anything from the Prophet. Do not change anything. Do not add your own. Because you know the caliphs of the time had a habit of doing that. You know, the Prophet said something and they would do the opposite. He said Rabbi-ul-awwal is the first month. The one came said, no, Muharram should be the first month. And number 5, when you pass away, when it's time for you to die, if I'm alive, return the Khilafah to me. Because you're dead. You don't need it anymore. If I'm not alive, give it to my brother, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. 5 conditions were put out. When it came to the cursing of Imam Ali alayhi salam, not only did he continue it, it went on for another 70 years after Muawiyah. And what money did he use to sponsor this? Baytul Mal. He took out money from the hungry to tell people to go on the minbar. They say by the end of it, 7,000 different pulpits were cursing Imam Ali alayhi salam. Ya awwala madloom. If you want to know who the first oppressed one was, it was none other than Imam Ali alayhi salam. Number 2, do not kill the Shias of Imam Ali. We have a recollection that one of the famous companions of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Hujr ibn Uday, Muawiyah brings him, I hear you're a follower of Ali. He said, yes, I am. He says, then curse him. He said, I'll never do such a thing. He said, I'll kill you if you don't curse him. I'm the Khalifa now. He says, I'll never do such a thing. He's like, then get ready for your death. Do you have any last words? He says, I have one request. Muawiyah wanting to look like a righteous man. He said, tell me your request. It's the least I can do. He said, bring my son. Muawiyah brings his son. He says, can you please kill my son for me? Muawiyah says, sure. The more the merrier. Kills the son. He says, okay, Muawiyah, now you can kill me. Muawiyah became intrigued by Hujr. He said, Hujr, everybody usually wants to save their child. Why is it that you wish for me to kill him first? He says, because I want to die knowing that my son died with Ali as his wali, with Wali Allah, Ali and Wali Allah. I'm scared that if I die, no one is there to supervise him. He may be polluted by your actions. So please kill him in front of me. Now I can rest in peace knowing that my son died in the way of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So that was number two. Number one was stop the cursing. He didn't stop. Number two, stop the killing. He didn't stop that either. And in fact, if you want to know how Muawiyah was so successful in making people hate Imam Ali, he started young. In Sham, you know what he used to do? He used to go and give the children of Sham lambs and baby goats. And as you know, at that time, that's like the favorite toy of a child. You give them little baby lambs and goats, and the child becomes attached to this creature. It's like their pet. The next day, he orders the killing of those lambs and goats in front of the child. They said, why are you doing that? He said, Khalifa Ali said so. I'm just listening to his instructions. So at a young age, the kids were taught hatred of Imam Ali. What a politician he was, that he knew you need to start young. And that's how he got away with over 90 years, to the extent that it was just a tradition. During the time of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, which was a Khalifa right before the fall of the Umayyads, he was just brought up. He would just go around saying, may Allah curse Ali, may Allah curse Ali, until his own father said, hey, stop that. This was a loyal companion, this is a cousin of the Prophet. He said, then why do we curse him? He says, because if we don't curse him, then people will realize we're not supposed to be here. So we need to keep his position down. And that's what they did with Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. The more you realize that there was a caliphate system that did not make any sense, that was handed through one to the other as a joke, the more they have to degrade the Imam of the time. To say that, look, Imam Hassan was bad too. He was lazy. So, point number 3, Baytul Mal, do not abuse it. He builds himself a palace. He funds the cursing of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Point number 4 was what? Maintain the sunnah of the Holy Prophet, the tradition of the Holy Prophet. This one shouldn't be that hard, yes? One day Muawiyah wants to travel. And one of the favorite things of Muawiyah to do is to lead Salatul Jummah, the Friday prayers. He's going to travel. He sees that he's not going to make it that week for Friday prayers. He said, no matter, make the Friday prayers on a Wednesday. Imagine the only salat that has the name of the day of the week in it, Salatul Jummah, Surah Al-Jummah. Muawiyah puts it on a Wednesday, and people say, Bismillah, no problem. Khalifa said so. And finally, the last point. As you know, Imam Hassan alayhi salam was poisoned by his wife Ja'da. Muawiyah brings her, says, do you love your husband, Hassan? She said, yes, he's not bad. He's okay. He said, what would it take for you to poison him? What's the price of your soul? You know, Muawiyah is always intrigued with the prices of souls. And I tell you, the Muawiyah of your time is that very television, that radio you listen to. Every day, when you turn on that media, that YouTube channel, what's the price of your soul? What's it going to take to disobey the Imam of your time? An ad? A proposition? A business offer? Collecting interest? Paying interest? What's it going to take? So, Ja'da, Hassan's wife, tell me, what's the price? Would 500,000 be enough? She said, it's not bad, but if he dies, then there's no man to take care of me. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the 500, and I'll give you my son Yazid. Wouldn't you like to marry my handsome son Yazid? She thinks about it, she says, that's a good offer. She goes ahead and poisons Imam al-Hassan with the worst poison available at the time, to the extent that narrations say Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam was throwing up pieces of his liver, pieces of his body. She goes back to Muawiyah. Oh Muawiyah, I did what you asked. He's gone. Can I have your son Yazid now? Whoa, 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 whoa. You killed the grandson of the Prophet. You want me to give you my son Yazid? What kind of a woman are you? Such a woman is not fit for my son Yazid. Take her away. The foolishness of the soul. You are what you want the most, brothers and sisters. And this is the takeaway from the life of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. If you want to know the truest stranger of Ahlul Bayt, Imam Hussein had 72 behind him ready. He had Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, who said, let me die 1,000 times and come back to life, and cut into pieces, and killed 1,000 more times. How can I complain when I am with you, O Hussein? Imam Hussein had Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas ready to give his 2 arms. He had a son like Ali al-Akbar. But Imam Hassan alayhi salam, no matter how much he went and preached to the people, they chose the son of Abu Sufyan every step of the way. But one thing that he did do was that he exposed Muawiyah. He exposed Muawiyah to an extent that no one was able to do. Because Muawiyah pretended to be a very righteous man. But when he gave that treaty to him on that day, and Muawiyah transgressed upon each and every one, today in Ziyarat Ashura, I know why I'm sending la'na upon Muawiyah. But would you believe me that there are certain Muslims that come and say Muawiyah radiyallahu an? Would you believe me? Sad thing is, every Muharram I have to do a lecture on why Muawiyah was not a righteous man. There's a book written by Aisha Bewley's, Muawiyah, the savior of the Muslim faith. And I would think to myself that nobody reads this rubbish. This is silly. Who sits down and reads the book? Who has the time to write such a book? But it wasn't until I was a few years ago in Rutgers University in New Jersey, and I was told to come speak as an ambassador of Shia Islam in an Islamic history course. I remember the youth in Rutgers University had a little club going on where they were giving out water bottles in the name of Imam al-Hussein. This Wahhabi boy came up to us. Why is it that you talk of Hussein? Hussein cannot benefit you. He's dead. Stop worshipping him. I asked the boy, come have a seat. Let's have a talk. At some point in this talk, I said, what's your position on Muawiyah, young man? He said, Muawiyah radiyallahu an. He was the scribe of the Quran for the Holy Prophet. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Muawiyah was the scribe of the Quran. Where do we begin? The only time Muawiyah touched the Quran was when he was putting it on spears in the Battle of Siffin. What did the Quran and Muawiyah have to do with one another? That you come and tell me, don't hand out water bottles in the name of Hussein. What has this heart become in the human? Last point. Oh Muawiyah, if I am dead, give the Khilafah back to Imam al-Hussein upon your death. No, Muawiyah can't have that. Oh Yazid, how am I supposed to make you a Khalifa when everybody sees what you do? You're a drunkard. You're a womanizer. You're a horrible man. How do I make you the next leader of the Muslims? He brings his advisors in. What should I do? They said, someone said, pay everyone. He said, there isn't enough money in the world to pay people to take my son as a leader. The other one says, threaten them. He said, then what will happen to the people if I'd have to kill everybody for them to accept? And indeed, when Yazid came as the Khalifa, you saw how many people and how many... He went back to Medina and started killing everyone. They say for the next generation, the women, the children didn't know who their fathers were after the Khilafah of Yazid. So they saw, what should we do? One man came, I think I heard a tradition. You know, I think, this word. I think I heard a tradition from the Holy Prophet. That he says if there is a battle that happens in Constantinople, modern day Turkey, Istanbul today, if there's a battle in Constantinople, anybody who takes part in this battle, all his sins are forgiven. Yazid, come here. Do you want to go on a vacation to Constantinople? No problem, Daddy. Go. They go. The conquest is finished over there. They come back. Oh people, I know you've seen my son sin before, but he has become a righteous man. Have you not heard that the Holy Prophet of Islam has said, anybody who goes and fights in this battle, and that day, all his sins will be forgiven? They say, yes, we have heard such a thing. Then look at my son Yazid as your next leader, for all his sins have been forgiven. Yazid is now the Khalifa. 5 points Imam Hassan alayhi salam made, 5 points were transgressed upon. And the worst part, brothers and sisters, when Imam Hassan comes to deliver this very treaty to Muawiyah, do you know what the scene is? Let me paint it for you. Let's look at the annals of Islamic history. Imam Hassan is sitting amongst you in a crowd like this. All the Muslims are sitting there. Muawiyah is sitting here. What a day. Muawiyah is sitting there, your Imam is down there. He says, Hassan, come give me that which you have promised. He comes and he delivers a scroll to Muawiyah, written on all the terms that I talked about this entire lecture. Muawiyah takes it. He goes, thank you, Hassan. May Allah curse Ali ibn Abi Talib. Imam Hassan looks to the people enraged. He says, "O people, do you not see that the son of Abu Sufyan is among us?" Then he looks at Muawiyah, and he says a line that sends shivers down the spine. He says, "O Muawiyah, my grandfather Rasulullah, your grandfather Harb, my father Ali al-Murtaza, yours Abu Sufyan, my mother Fatima al-Zahra, yours is Hind the cannibal, my grandmother Khadija al-Kubra, yours Futayla. May Allah curse the one that has a more disgraced lineage." You send curses upon my father. May Allah curse the one that has a more disgraced lineage. The son of Hind, the son of Abu Sufyan, the father of Yazid. Everybody stay silent. Inshallah, we can dim the lights and go into tonight. Musibah. As you know, Imam Hassan alayhi salam had one request at his death. He said, "Oh Hussein, when you bury me, try and bury me next to my grandfather, Jaddi Rasulullah." The tribe of Bani Hashim, the tribe of Rasulullah comes, they shroud Imam Hassan's body. They lift him up. As they're walking towards the grave of the Holy Prophet, that famous wife that we mentioned last night comes on a mule. She stops them, says, "Do you not know that this is my inheritance?" She saw that the Bani Hashim was not letting up, so she ordered some men to come and rain arrows on the blessed body of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. Such was the tragedy of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. Imam Hassan was the person that resembled the Prophet the most in his character and even in his appearance. Imam Hassan was the one that as a child, during the time after the Holy Prophet passed away, he was only 5 years old. When they came and they took away his father's right, Bibi Fatima, as you know, salamallahu alayha, would sit at the house and she would await for Imam Hassan alayhi salam to come back with the news. When Imam Hassan alayhi salam would come back, his mother would say, "Hassan, what have you to tell me?" Imam Hassan would deliver these lines in the most beautiful eloquence. When Imam Ali would come back home after a long day of telling the people, "Oh people, do you not see that that is my position that has been taken away?" When he comes back home, Fatima al-Zahra says, "Ali, I have been informed that this happened and this happened and this happened today." One day Imam Ali says, "Oh Fatima, you speak with such eloquence. Where do you learn this knowledge from? Who has delivered this news to you?" She says, "Your son Hassan has told me. I'm saying what he told me." He says, "Oh Fatima, I have a question. Why is it that Hassan never speaks in front of me?" She said, "Ali, next time you come home, hide behind the curtains and I'll ask him so you can hear how beautifully your son speaks." Imam Hassan comes home. His mother asks, "Oh Hassan, what have you to tell me of the happenings of today?" Imam Hassan just remains quiet. He says, "Oh my son, why do you remain quiet?" He says, "Oh mother, do you not know the grandeur of the man that sits behind the curtains? I cannot speak when my father, Ali ibn Abi Talib, is in the same room." Such was the beautiful family of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. A famous reciter once did a musibah just like this. At night, he had a dream. He saw Imam Hassan approached him. He said, "Thank you for reciting my musibah, but I'm upset with you." He said, "Why, Imam?" He says, "Because you didn't recite the biggest tragedy." He said, "Oh Imam, which tragedy do you want me to recite? Do you want me to recite the tragedy where they poisoned you and you began to spit up pieces of your body, pieces of your liver?" He says, "No, there's a greater tragedy." He says, "Oh Imam, do you want me to tell them of how they rained arrows on your blessed body when they came to bury you next to your grandfather Rasulullah?" He says, "No, don't tell them of that tragedy. There's a bigger tragedy." As you know, Imam al-Hassan, the only person that he would speak to was his mother. He would not speak in front of his father, for he did not want people to question his father's imamah, for he was also as eloquent. He said, "Oh man, tell them of the tragedy. When I was a little boy and I was in the neighborhood, they had dragged my father in the streets to force him to give bay'ah to the first. And then my mother, with her hand on her rib, began to chase after my father. I went outside to see where they're taking my mother. And then I saw a non-mahram man chasing her. As I drew closer, I saw the hand of this non-mahram man go up, and he delivered a slap upon the cheek of my mother. I was but a boy when I witnessed such a scene. They say that after Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam lost his mother, he did not speak very much anymore until the death of his father. Imam Hassan would remain quiet. And on the deathbed, when Imam Hussein is crying, looking at his brother sick, we find Imam Hassan alayhi salam crying. And he's crying so much, Imam Hussein says, "Oh Hassan, why is it that you cry? I should be the one crying, for you are the last of the Panjatan among me. After you, I have no more of Rasulullah around me." He says, "Ya Hussein, la yawmaka yawmak ya Hussein." There is no day like yours, O Hussein. Therefore, brothers and sisters, let us take our hearts to Karbala on this night. On the 10th of Muharram, Imam Hussein is standing there by himself, and an arrow is shot towards his chest. Let me tell you this story from another perspective that you may not have heard before. When this arrow hits the chest of Imam Hussein, you would think that Imam Hussein can remove it very easily. Why? Because Imam Hussein had become a master of removing arrows, don't you know? On the deathbed of Imam al-Hassan, he would remove 70 arrows from his blessed body. And Karbala, he would go and he would remove an arrow from the eye of Abul Fadl al-Abbas. Imam Hussein would go and take a spear out from the chest of Ali Akbar. Brothers and sisters, when Ali Asghar was brought to be given water and they returned him with an arrow, Imam Hussein would take an arrow that was 3-pronged, used to kill a camel, and he would remove it from the throat of his 6-month-old child. But on the 10th of Muharram, on that afternoon, when Imam Hussein was all alone and Karbala struck him with an arrow, no matter how much Imam Hussein would pull on the arrow in his chest, he noticed it would not exit his body. So he begins to push the arrow further inside the body so he can take it out from the other side. Ala la'natullahi qawm al-zalimin wa sayalam alladhi. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you for your attendance in the Majlis of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Always know that on these occasions that very few show up and you decide to show up, it's as if your father is calling you. He's calling you and saying, "My son, I haven't seen you for a while. Come and pay me a visit." Each and every one of you were handpicked by the beloved Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. Come hear of my story. Come see what they say about me, and come learn about me so you can defend my right. For verily, there is no more beautiful right to defend than the right of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam. For the right of Ahlul Bayt is the right of Allah upon creation. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins by the majesty of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the privilege of remembering Imam Hassan alayhi salam year after year and donating for his cause, even if it's a dinner or a cup of water for his cause. Let us ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to never allow us to forget about the Imam that is the most forgotten between us. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi tahirin walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
ज़ैनब ने कहा कौन है परदेस में मेरा, क्यों जाते हो तुम छोड़ के भैया मुझे तन्हा। زینب کو ہر کے موڑ پہ تڑ پائے گی دنیا، یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے بھیا، زینب کو ہر ایک موڑ پہ تڑ پائے گی دنیا، یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے بادہ پہ کے ہوگا میری غربت کا یہ عالم، اس وقت غریبی بھی کرے گی میرا ماتم، سعادتی کو جب راہ میں دے گا کوئی صدقہ، یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے بھیا، زینب ہر ایک موڑ پہ تڑ پائے گی دنیا، یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آئے گا بھیا مجھے ارمان تمہارا، تم دیکھ نہیں پائے ہو اکبر کا جو صحرا، دعوت کوئی شادی کی مدینے میں جو دیکھا، یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے بھیا، زینب کو کہ موڑ پہ تڑ پائے گی دنیا، یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے دیدار بھی ہو جائے گا بیٹی کے بہانے، کیا شام کے زندان میں آؤ گے سلانے، سوئے گی نہیں جب میری، سوئے گی نہیں جب میری لوری سے سکینہ، یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے، زینب کو ہر ایک موڑ پہ تڑ پائے گی دنیا، یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے اس ماہ سے منسوب تھی بھیا میری خوشیاں، تھی سب سے بڑی عید میری تیسری شعبان، شعبان کے جب چاند کو دیکھے گی یہ بہنا، یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے بھیا، زینب کو ہر ایک پہ تڑ پائے گی دنیا، یاد آؤ گے بھیا، ہے یاد آؤ گے بھیا، یا حسین
بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں، پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا ماں، بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں، پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا، شمرنے کی پھر ایسی گستاخی مجھ سے دیکھا نہیں گیا اماں بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا اماں بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا تم جو زلفیں سوارا کرتی تھی انہی زلفوں میں ہاتھ تھا اس کا جہاں بوسے دیے تھے نانا نے اسی گردن سے خون ٹپکتا تھا سر شبیر یوں اٹھائے ہوئے شمر خیمے تک آ گیا اماں بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا دیکھ کر مجھ کو بین کرتے ہوئے شمر ہر بار مسکراتا رہا میری نظروں کے سامنے ظالم وار گن کر چھری چلاتا رہا ہے تیرا ضربے تھی کند خنجر تھا اور شبیر کا گلا اماں بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا چاروں جانب سے گھیر رکھا تھا تیرے نورے نظر کو لشکر نے تیر برساتا کوئی اس پر کوئی پتھر سے مارتا تھا اسے ہر ریت زخموں پہ وہ گراتا رہا جس کو پتھر نہیں ملا اماں بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا شمرنے کی پھر ایسی گستاخی مجھ سے دیکھا نہیں گیا اماں بھائی بھائی پکارتی رہی میں پھر بھی خنجر نہیں رکا یا حسین نہر
پیاسا ہے 3 روز سے کن بار رسول کا اے نہر القمہ کچھ تجھ سے دور بھی نہیں پیاسوں کا قافلہ نہر القمہ نہر القمہ نہر القمہ نہر القمہ اللہ رے وفا علم دار کربلا اللہ رے وفا علم دار کربلا قبضہ کیا فرات پہ قبضہ کیا فرات پہ پانی نہیں پیا نہر القمہ نہر القمہ
سوکھی ہوئی زبان سے بیٹی حسین کی، سوکھی ہوئی زبان سے بیٹی حسین کی، اپنے چچا کے واسطے، اپنے چچا کے واسطے کرتی رہی دعا، نہر القما، نہر القما، حسرت سے دیکھتے رہے بچے سوئے فرات، حسرت سے دیکھتے رہے بچے سوئے فرات، سقائے اہل بیت، سقائے اہل بیت نہ خیمے تک آ سکا، نہر القما، نہر القما، پانی کے ایک بوند کا کرتا ہوا سوال، پانی کے ایک بوند کا کرتا ہوا سوال، اکبر سا نوجوان، اکبر سا نوجوان پیاسا چلا گیا، نہر القما، نہر القما، 6 ماہ کے صغیر نے کھایا ستم کا تیر، 6 ماہ کے صغیر نے کھایا ستم کا تیر، بانوں کے نونہال کو، بانوں کے نونہال کو پانی نہیں ملا، نہر القما، نہر القما، زینب کے سر سے چھین رہا ہے ردا لہیں، زینب کے سر سے چھین رہا ہے ردا لہیں، عباس نامدار کو، عباس نامدار کو دے دو ذرا صدا، نہر القما، نہر القما، آئے گا پھر پلا کے نہ زہرا کا نور عین، آئے گا پھر پلا کے نہ زہرا کا نور عین، اب لاکھ کروٹیں لیں، اب لاکھ کروٹیں لیں، وہ لمحہ گزر گیا، نہر القما، نہر القما، یا حسین، 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 اللہم صل علی محمد وآلہ۔
السلام عليك يا رسول الله المصطفى محمد بن عبد الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين المرتضى علي بن أبي طالب، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين الشهيد، السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا شهداء كربلاء وأسيران كربلاء ورحمة الله وبركاته، السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين الزين العابدين. السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي الباكر. السلام عليك يا جعفر بن محمد الصادق. السلام عليك يا موسى بن جعفر القاسم. السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى الرضا. السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي الجواد. السلام عليك يا علي بن محمد الهادي. السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي العسكري. السلام عليك يا إمام صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان الأمان الأمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله تعالى فرجه وسهر الله مخرجه. السلام عليك يا وبركاته.